Hey there, everyone. Andrew Lopez of Partner Channel OC. Very excited, as always, to have this series. This is now, Tracy is a part of this. This is now season 2. We've had the first 30 episodes. This is episode 31. So, welcome, everybody, to season 2 of Partner Channel OC. I can't believe we've gotten here so fast since May. So, Tracy Schroeder, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for letting me come into your office. It's amazing to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you inviting me on to your show. And great to meet you.
Of course. Glad to be connected with you as well. So, Tracy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
You know, I'm born and raised in Orange County and actually Newport Beach. It's very unlikely to hear of someone who's been here her whole life. Grew up, great family. I have a brother. I have 2 parents. My brother's still here. He's married. I grew up in Corona Del Mar. Just beach kid, little beach bum, running around. And just kind of that Southern California lifestyle. You know, we walk to the beach, we'd lay out, we'd come home, go to a movie, hang out with the family, do sports, outdoor life. And then as I got a little older, I went to UCLA, did LA for about 5 years, and off to New York. So I spent my 20s in New York City and eventually came back to California to start my own company, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. But it's just been a great life so far. And, you always kind of come back to this beautiful place. You can't get better than this.
Of course. So you've been all over the place. You started here. You went, from here to LA, which is a big change in itself, right?
Yeah.
Orange County, neighboring, but it's a different world. And then you went all the way across the country to New York City.
Yes.
And then you came back.
Yeah.
And look at that.
I know. So and it's amazing when you come back. It's like Hotel California.
Right?
I guess, but I've never really understood that song. But yeah, you always kind of come back. You can check out, but you never leave. So,
exactly.
So
Thank you, Don Henley, for penning that perfectly.
You get a lot of experience, and I do say that to a lot of my friends who have children who are kind of hitting their 20s and deciding what to do in life. And I think some of the biggest experiences you can get out of life is actually either travel or living somewhere else, living in cities. Although Newport Beach is a very nothing's perfect, but beautiful environment to be in. I think that you will always lack a certain amount of culture and depth that you can get other places like LA and New York. So those 2 places, those 2 times in my life were some of my biggest growing years, and I would never trade any of that.
Of course, it's made you who you are today, right?
Yeah, it is.
And that's awesome.
Yeah,
no, thank you for touching onto that.
Right.
It's always good to find the backstory of where you come from and what it is that where you've been, and kind of where you're going now. So Tracy, what is your business?
So real estate investments. I have a background of real estate for over, I don't want to age myself, but over 20 years. I came from a real estate family. My dad and his brother, back almost 50 years ago, started a investment. They started buying apartments, so it was kind of an investment company, starting with duplexes. So think about that, and now we have over 3,000 units. Wow. So that's kind of a success story in itself. So they started 50 years ago putting these partnerships together, and then they created a management company to obviously oversee those properties. And so I grew up in that. I grew up, running out to properties, looking at maintenance things, management issues, hearing it, living it, because when you grow up in an entrepreneurial family, you're pretty much 24/7. I mean, I think any entrepreneur could say that, is that if you love what you do, you never stop thinking about it. And so I grew up in that. I got in, obviously went through UCLA. I always worked a little bit in family business. I had other side jobs, like surf shops and stuff when I was young. Always worked summers in our family company. Went to UCLA, came back to Newport after UCLA, after living in Los Angeles, and actually kind of got an opportunity to work, did get an opportunity to work with a really fantastic designer who did high-end custom homes, and then we also did some national projects in multifamily, which is apartments. So we were traveling all over the United States, renovating these big apartment complexes. So I had this great experience in my early 20s just by kind of happenstance. I met this girl I just connected with, and I always had an interest in design and a talent for it. So I started my career off in interior design. Then in my mid-20s, I decided I wanted to live in New York City. I had many reasons, which I won't go into, but I moved to New York, and I worked in fashion for a little bit, and then I actually quickly got a job after fashion. I realized it wasn't my gig exactly. In real estate development. So by the time I was 26 years old, I was in New York City doing real estate development for a really incredible company. So 5-6 years in that profession there, I think that just gave me not only an incredible experience, but an incredible confidence to know how to take next steps, because I think internally I was always an entrepreneur. I always wanted to do my own thing.
Waiting to take that jump, right?
Exactly.
You need to kind of hone it in and then
go.
Make the jump.
Exactly. So I did end up in my early 30s at this point, coming back to California and starting my own company. I joined ventures with my dad, and we started kind of a new division of what he had done in the past, which obviously is the investments. So now we have acquired about 12 buildings in Orange County and Los Angeles County with investors over the past 6 years. Yeah. And they've been wonderful. I mean, they're apartment buildings. So we do that, and I've raised money from friends and family, and that's pretty much our investor pool is all friends and family.
Awesome. So it sounds like a very tight-knit family connection. You're working alongside your father. That's got to be, an awesome thing. Yeah. Every day, right?
We do. Oh, yeah, totally.
It's not something that most people have.
No. And we get along really well.
And that's amazing.
As professional people, we get along really well. And then we go home, and not home together, but we go to dinner and we have family social events, and we get along well, but we talk business, and
of course,
we have fun with it.
But there's some separation. Thanksgiving dinner table, it's not always at this boardroom table, right? I mean, there's got to be some separation.
It isn't, but he and I definitely we have a strong connection that way. I think that my brother laughs actually because he's in the wine business, so he says, "I don't know how you guys do it. You just are all about business. I could never be that way," but it is when you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, when you have it here, you got to chase it, and you surround yourself with the ones, and it happens to be. Both my parents are business owners. Yeah. So same type of mindset, going into that, and it's been passed down to me. So it sounds like, kind of leading into the next question that everyone loves to talk about, is you have a strong value of partnership, just first with your dad, in growing Schroeder Investment Partners and in just establishing that together. So a question I have for you, excuse me, is how do you, Tracy, or how does Schroeder Investment Partners value partnership in your business?
Well, how I see it with Schroeder Investment Partners and all the Schroeder companies that we've had, all the other companies we have within our umbrella of companies, is we have partners, investors, that have been with us since day one. So 50 years. Yeah. And now their children and their grandchildren are investing with us. So it's about those relationships. It's the relationships we've had managing our investors' monies for 50 years. They trust us. We have done well to them, by them, and fiduciary, we are very strong and reliable to them. And so that's been kind of the lead-in to have their children invest and their grandchildren. And then their cousins and their relatives and their friends. So those relationships are key to any business, particularly when you're there for the long haul. That's all you have. It's your reputation and it's your relationships.
Yeah, you can start a whole new business, and if you don't have those relationships in place to kind of take it into the next venture, there it goes.
Exactly. So, and we had that with, and that was a blessing I had, and definitely an advantage. Where when I started Schroeder Investment Partners, my dad, I had a reputation of his knowledge and our family's experience for 50 years that we were able to bring through, plus my knowledge that I brought to the table from New York City and other things that I had done. And combined, we were able to, continue with the investors we had for many, many years, getting new investors, getting their kids who had maybe more of akin to me, understanding that, oh my gosh, there is succession here. This company isn't gonna die out when the original founders pass on, or we have our money's gonna be saved for another generation, and that's huge. And I've been able to bring in some other friends of mine who are approximately my age, looking to invest for their future. And again, I was just out with the investor the other night, and her and I are really great friends, and we have a great time every time we're together, and we get to go look at the properties and we talk business. And it's those relationships that mean everything. And I told her, and it's very true, is that some people say don't do business with your friends, and I kind of get that, and you have to kind of keep it professional. But there is something when you care about the friends, the people that you have to look at and answer to, is you are going to try so hard to make sure you are doing everything right to make sure that those investments are succeeding and that they are taken care of, and that the person who you're responsible for their money, that you're doing everything you can to protect that.
Oh, of course, especially when there's large sums of money involved, investments, and it could get a little interesting sometimes. So, good on you for having that strong value of partnership just in your business and even in your friendships. It sounds like.
Exactly.
So what you've created here is pretty awesome. It looks like, and
is.
you have a solid foundation with your family, with the business, and solid foundations with partnerships, throughout all the entities here. So I thank you so much, Tracy, for sharing your story, and I'm very, very glad that she is kicking off Season 2 of Partner Channel OC. So I'll put her contact below. Connect with Tracy here. She is going to take very good care of you. And Tracy, thank you so much for being a part of this. This is awesome.
I appreciate it. Thank
all right.
you.
Cheers, everybody.